This episode of the Brilliance plus Passion podcast is brought to you by Groundhog Day is an event, not a business strategy. Are you ready to finally solve those pesky issues that keep holding back your business success and never seem to go away? Embrace the power of the S.P.R.I.N.G formula that unearths the issues and opportunities burrowed beneath the surface, and grow your business so you thrive from your intersection of your brilliance and your passion. Claim your copy today at www.thegroundhogbook.com. Welcome to the Brilliance plus Passion podcast. Join us as we celebrate entrepreneurs, business creators, and brilliant minds who reveal what they are doing to make the world a better place by being part of it. Be sure to visit our website at www.brilliancepluspassion.com. While you're there, subscribe to us via your favorite network. Now sit back, lean in, tune in, get your notepad and 2 pens ready, and let's get started.
My name is Adam Homey. I'm your host, and I am honored by your wise decision to tune in and invest in yourself today. Here at the Brilliance Plus Passion Project, we spotlight folks who are doing what they do best to make the world a better place by being part of it and by their contributions to it. And today we have a very interesting guest for you. His name is Warren Marlowe, and he is the host of a very interesting podcast, which he's going to tell you a bit about. And you are going to really enjoy this. He's a former professional wrestler. He's now in the podcasting world. And the name of that podcast is Buzzing with Marlowe. So, Warren, welcome aboard. I'm so happy to have you here.
Hey, I appreciate it, Adam. Thank you for having me.
All right, you bet. So, first question is, how does the work that you do make the world a better place for your clients, customers, and the world at large?
If you don't see the logo, it's kind of like the handcuffs break off, because like some of us, we interview celebrities and stuff like that, and I usually call it robo mode. Like literally, it's just same questions that get asked every single time. Like you could hit them with a shock saying, "Hey, do you like frogs?" And that could just change the whole demographic of a whole episode. And I've actually had so many people, like they were iffy at first because I don't pre-plan my questions or anything. I like to have the organic chats, especially with people like that too, because I mean, everybody hears everything from celebrities' perspective and stuff. So I saw, I just want to give you open chats. And then every time I get positive feedbacks, every single time, like, man, I didn't expect it to go like that. And like, oh, I thought you were just some musclehead wrestler and stuff like that, and literally just see different personalities through the whole episode.
Yeah. So right now you are the host of the podcast that you're doing, and what else are you doing? You up to anything else right now, or is that the primary thing?
I'm father, husband, stuff like that. We just aired a new segment from the Buzzing with Marlowe channel called Let's Talk About It. That's actually live right now, and it's going so well. I'm joined with an old friend of mine from high school. I've known her for so long, and it's basically, let's talk about it. It's basically saying, hey, everybody who knows me, I don't have a filter. I will ask anything and just cause the repercussions later. And of course, that is her as well. So I was like, hey, let's do a segment where men ask women questions that men are so scared to ask, and then what females ask men what they're scared to ask. And so far, we've been getting a good feedback right now, so it might just keep going pretty soon.
Yeah. What are some of the frequently asked questions you get from folks who are checking you out and learning more about you?
In my pro wrestling background, is it really fake? That's the typical one. Podcasting, everybody. When I first started, I wanted to get into the wrestling demographic because obviously COVID hit. I did this mainly for all my friends that do this as a job, like income wise. I had 2 guys that just had babies on the way when COVID hit and shut down. No matches, no shows, no travels, nothing. Yeah. So I wanted it to help them with the audience and kind of invest and still do something, which I knew was going to be a hit or miss because just starting out, I don't know anything on how to promote and stuff like that. I've learned so much and I've had to research so much. And it's just crazy. Like a lot of people just like, man, I never thought you'd be like an analyst and stuff like that. And with me not being in wrestling anymore, I could still be in it. And also, you listen to Buzzing with Marlowe, there's so many different types of topics, guests. There's new guests every week. I kind of try to make it different every single week. Because say like if we have somebody talk about Christianity, next week we could have somebody talking about a brick welder or whatever you want to call it, and they just get more invested into it because they're like, hey, I didn't know about that, or I didn't think of something like that. And I get those all the time. Is like, how do you come up with these ideas? Like, don't you think that's like a hit or miss to do certain topics? And I'm like, you know, I did at first, but I'm like, I'm going to keep with it because I feel like that's what's making me different from other podcasters, because a lot of podcasters, you have one certain topic and that's an easy way to get burned out. Very easy way to get burned out.
Yeah. Yeah. What are some questions you wish people would ask?
Whew. That's a good one. What I wish some people would ask, when it regards to fitness and stuff, stop asking them if people are on steroids first thing. Like that just drives people nuts. I mean, it gives people a prop like, hey, thanks, you make me think I look good, but it also is just like, that is just like a bullying critique standpoint. That's just jealousy and stuff like that. I would say the same thing about some things in podcasts. A lot of people, podcasting is kind of like wrestling, man. There's a lot of podcasters out there like sharks. Like some of them be like, hey, let's do this support. I'll support you. I want to listen to your stuff. And then find out a day later they unsubscribed your channel and stuff like that. And I've seen people like, I've seen the realism of people, and I've seen also the other side. And I mean, you learn so much from these things. And I tell people all the time, like, I wish people would look at it and just not even look at it like, hey, man, this is an impossible gig. It's impossible if you don't try. And that's one thing I wish people would, I wish everybody would do, is not feel like you need a handout to start something. That is the biggest thing I think is a big no-no in my book.
Yeah. So let's shift gears for a minute. And I want to ask you a few things that will help our listeners get to know you better as a person, Warren. And the first one is, what would people who know you, so your friends, maybe even your mom and dad, whoever's going to be tuning into this, what would surprise people about you, something about you that people who know you would be surprised to learn?
Doing podcasts. Flat out doing podcasts. Like I was always that jock guy. Like high school, I played basketball. I got to play a little bit in the college division. I've always succeeded at a top level on so many things that I've done because I dedicate myself every single time. One thing that people said, I may not have been the best talent out there, but I outwork anybody. Like that was my motto. I would outwork anybody. Like if I dedicate myself to it, look out. That is what I'm going to give you every single week. And sometimes that's got me in trouble in my marriage standpoint, because she's like, man, how many podcasts are you going to do this week? I'm just like, well, I mean, I gotta get these episodes through, you know.
More podcasts.
So, exactly. Like, and so I do one episode a week and stuff, but I mean, it's still a lot of work. You gotta do the time, promote it. I think the main thing people would be shocked to know, knowing that my situation before, I hit major rock bottom, and for me to not be a statistic is a big achievement in my life. And I'm sure everybody can have an idea of what I say when I say about a statistic, because it's a hit or miss, and especially the way the world we're in now. Mental health is a big thing. I used to laugh about it. I mean, I'm from a military household, and I really don't have feelings. I mean, I think it's also because of wrestling. Like people, if I got hurt, people don't know if I'm faking it or if it's true because of my background and stuff like that. So it's just, I think it was just because of those things. Like I literally would pick myself up every single time, and everybody would know. Just I would give the shirt off my back to anybody. I'm always a team player, and that's one reason why I never probably succeeded fully in sports because I always try to help the next person, and that's one reason why I kind of probably my success rate probably in wrestling or something didn't go so high because I was worried about who the person I was in the ring with, and I think that's a big shocker to a lot of people.
Right. That makes a lot of sense. Now, what do you hope people say about you when you're not around to hear it?
Ooh. That I gave it my all. And literally you cannot say I don't try. And that's one thing I tell people all the time, man, is like the worst thing, the most toughest thing to do, especially saying like going to a gym or something, is just show up. And that's something I live by every single day because I have a motto I go by every single day, regardless of what I deal with, what tragedies I've had in my life. I use this motto. It's called every setback makes one heck of a comeback. And I live by that every single day. I thought about having it tattooed on me, but it'll kind of look weird when I'm like 50. So I just kind of like don't know where I could actually have a full sentence straight down my body. But that's something I definitely live by every single day. One thing my biggest lifestyle thing that I want to make sure I do is I want to be a mentor for my kids. I want to be somebody my kids look up and go, you know what? My daddy had a good life. My daddy did what he needed to do.
Yeah. If you could go back in time, Warren, and change one thing you've done, one thing you've experienced, one thing that's happened, what would it be and why?
I used to say, some tragedy. I can't say fully the thing because I got my child right over there, and I don't want to say anything on it. But I used to say that scenario, but I wouldn't be the guy I am today if it didn't happen. And not saying it's always the best situation still to this day, but it's made me who I am. And it's made me the man that my wife can sit here and lay next to and say, I absolutely love and know that I'm head over heels for her and I'm all in to be a husband. Because if everybody knew me for the stuff I've had in my past, a lot of people would not have thought I've gotten married. A lot of people would have not have thought I would have had another child. I have 2 kids now, and I have a 10-year-old and I have a 3-year-old, and I literally wouldn't change the world for them.
Right. What famous person, alive or dead, would you like to meet? What questions would you have for them if you had the opportunity?
The Rock.
The Rock.
I live by.
Why did I see that coming? Why?
I live by his mottos. It's my biggest questions would be, man, like, how do you keep doing what you're doing? Like, he is the most busiest person on this planet, regardless of what people's views or whatever on this. Rock literally is somebody I looked up to since he really got me into pro wrestling because I just loved everything this guy brought, the character, everything. Like it's just second to none. And like I looked at it, I was like, man, if I could ever be like him. Like that attitude and stuff. Like I never could speak in third person. I never could have done any of the stuff that he did. So it's like that was my way of living that type of lifestyle, watching The Rock and just seeing the stuff that he does with his family and stuff like that. And that makes me even more invested into him because a lot of people look into celebrities and they're not the best role models outside of the camera. I don't believe that with Rock. I believe he's a family man, a hardworking man. He literally does everything with his bare hands, and that's something I just idolize. So my biggest question would be is just like, man, what else is left? Like, you got your own water, you got your own clothing line, you got your own shoes, you got the best energy drink. Like, I don't even drink tequila, and I drink the daggum Terramanas just because it's his product. I tell people all the time, like, he takes half my paychecks every month. It's like literally. It just amazes me how much positivity this man can bring. And he's just done something that we wrestled in front of 20 people before. You're putting on costumes. you're hitting wood. It's not. It might be a fake sport to people. It might be choreographed, but that ring is not nice to anybody. That's probably why I hit only 6 years, and it's crazy to see that Ric Flair just had his last match at 74 years old. It's just like it's crazy because it motivates you to go, you know what? You have a purpose in life, regardless of what it is. Like I maybe never make the WWE, which everybody's goal is probably to do it. Probably not now, knowing that wrestling is now, but I lived my life. I lived my childhood. If it was in front of 20 people, 1,000 people, whatever, like I got to live. I got to get paid to be a pro wrestler. I never thought I could be it. I was a basketball player in high school. That's all you really would know me of. And for me to turn into a pro wrestler was a whole different jump. People would have laughed at you when I first started. But when they started watching the matches and starting the videos and saw that I was getting ranked, I'm getting produced in this new upcoming pro wrestling simulation video game and representing the state of Florida, which is a big accomplishment because I'm not wrestling anymore. And for that to even get a knowledge, that speaks true to what I brought. And my character was just based off the kids, man. I always wanted to do something to be a role model. That was my biggest thing. So
exactly.
Definitely just like Rock, what is there left to do, man? Like, what is there left to do? You want to buy your own hotel? Like, what do you want to do?
Yeah. So, so we are at the point where we need to wrap up here. And you've already told us a bit about your motivations and inspirations. And I think that's great. So I know you have an invitation for our viewers. You have a link you want them to check out. And I'm going to share that for you in just a moment. But real quick, finally, what is one action you would urge our listeners to take as soon as they finish listening to this episode in the next minute or so?
Just find out if you've found your purpose. If you're not happy, find it. If you feel like there's something that you need in your life, take a look back and see about it. Like, we only got one life to live. Like, people, we all act like we're stepping on eggshells every single day. Like, take that chance. Like, if you want to do a podcast, do a podcast. If you want to try to star in a movie, TikTok is very popular for all that stuff now. Like, there is ways to get yourself in the door. Like, sometimes you're gonna have to take sacrifices, but every setback makes one heck of a comeback. And that's one thing I want people to realize. Like, there is always a purpose for somebody. Don't ever be a statistic.
Every setback makes one heck of a comeback. You got to make memes around that, my man. You really do. All right. So
come on, brand it.
Exactly. So for our listeners, if you're watching this on our companion YouTube channel, or you are on our website at www.brilliancepluspassion.com watching the video version of this, it is a Linktree link, linktr.ee/Buzzing Marlowe. Otherwise, you just heard me say it, and go down to the show notes and you'll see the link there. What this is one of those Linktree setups where you can see all of Warren's social media. He's got a Twitter, he's got an Instagram, he's got a TikTok, and you can check out the Buzzing with Marlowe podcast. And I myself am going to have to check out a few episodes. I know that as of this writing, we've recently crossed episode 100, and there's some new great stuff coming out. So make sure you check that out. I think you've just won me as a fan. And with that, Warren Marlowe, Buzzing with Marlowe, thank you so much for being with us today. It's been an honor, and believe me, in education.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for tuning into the Brilliance Plus Passion podcast, where we celebrate entrepreneurs, business creators, and brilliant minds who are making a difference for their community, market, and audience. Remember to visit our website at www.brilliancepluspassion.com and enjoy even more great episodes like this one. Again, while you're here, subscribe to us via your favorite network. We look forward to seeing you next time on the Brilliance Plus Passion podcast.